Welcome to the Lilith Astrology Lounge. I am your host, Esraa. It is Saturday, which means we actually have the time to sit down and think today. Go ahead and pull up a chair, grab a drink, make yourself at home. Let's just address the elephant in the room right away. I actually tried to start this podcast back in 2020, and shocker, it was an absolute failure. I mean, a crash and burn, back to the drawing board kind of failure. I had the vision, I had the moody aesthetics, I signed contracts, and I got absolutely zero green lights from the universe. Or, to be honest, I had no passion. If you study the sky long enough, you realize that sometimes you aren't actually a visionary, sometimes you're just impatient. We want everything immediately, but the planets do whatever they want. Saturn takes its sweet time to teach you a lesson, and Mercury will happily retrograde all over your launch plans just to humble you. So I waited. I wrote, I did chart readings, I lived my life, and I let the transits do their thing. And now the wait is over. The stars have finally aligned. I'm the happiest ever been. The lounge is officially open, and I am so deeply thrilled you are here. Some of you know me as Esraa Yousry, the author. Some of you know me strictly as Lilith from my readings over the years. But if you're new here, you might be wondering, why Lilith? Out of all the celestial bodies, all the goddesses, all the myths, why name this space the Lilith Astrology Lounge? If you look back at the original mythology, before she was turned into a spooky internet aesthetic or a monster to scare children, Lilith was simply the first woman. And her entire storyline is basically that she refused to settle. She looked around the Garden of Eden, saw the dynamic she was being offered, said absolutely not, and flew away. Icon behavior, honestly. Lilith represents the raw, unedited truth. She is the part of us that demands independence. She is the dark feminine energy that says what everyone else is thinking, even when it makes people incredibly uncomfortable. And that is exactly the energy we are channeling here, because here is the truth. Magazine astrology is a scam. I know, it hurts to hear. But if you're looking for a podcast that tells you Leo's just like looking in mirrors and Geminis are two-faced menaces, you are in the wrong lounge. Pop astrology wants you to believe that there are only 12 types of people on planet Earth. If that were true, middle school would have been a lot easier to navigate. Reading your daily horoscope based only on your sun sign is like trying to understand an entire movie by looking at a blurry poster. It does not tell the real story of who you are. So today, for our very first deep dive, we are going to dismantle the biggest myth in basic astrology: the sun sign versus the rising sign. When someone asks you, what is your sign? You give them your sun sign. It is where the sun was in the sky on the exact day you were born. And your sun sign is important. It is your ego. It is your core life force. It is the battery pack that keeps you running. But it is not how you interact with the world. Your rising sign, also known as your ascendant, is the zodiac sign that was literally rising over the eastern horizon at the exact minute you were born. If your sun sign is your core identity, your rising sign is your PR manager. It is the mask you wear. It is your personal style, your knee-jerk reactions, and the very first impression you give to strangers. Think of your birth chart like a house. The rising sign is the front door. It is the architectural style of the house. It is what the neighbors see when they walk by. The sun sign is the person actually living inside the house, sitting on the couch. Let me use myself as an example because my chart is a walking contradiction. My sun is in Taurus. Now, Taurus is an earth sign ruled by Venus. We like peace, we like luxury, we like stability. Left to my own devices, the Taurus part of me wants to be wrapped in a very soft, very expensive blanket, eating a gourmet pastry and speaking to absolutely no one. The Taurus sun is stubborn, protective of its peace, and highly skeptical of sudden changes. But my rising sign is Leo. Leo is fire. Leo is ruled by the actual sun. The Leo ascendant does not want to hide under a blanket. The Leo ascendant a microphone. It wants a dimly lit aesthetic lounge. It wants to host. It wants you to perceive the outfit, the hair, and the vibe. Leo rising walks into a room and instantly registers the lighting and the audience. It has main character energy. So you can see the conflict here, right? The Leo rising throws the front doors of the house wide open and invites everyone inside for a spectacular dramatic dinner party. And the Taurus sun is sitting in the living room in pajamas, quietly resenting the fact that people are currently standing on the rug. This is why I'd read a horoscope for your sun sign and think, this doesn't sound like me at all. If you have a deeply emotional Cancer sun, but an incredibly detached intellectual Aquarius rising, people are going to think you are an aloof mystery, while inside, you are crying over a TikTok about a senior dog. You cannot understand yourself or anyone else until you understand the mask they wear versus the soul they are protecting. Let's look at how this actually works in the wild. Let's take the internet's absolute favorite sign to demonize, Scorpio. If you are a Scorpio rising, your PR manager is basically a CIA agent. Scorpio risings walk into a room and immediately scan for threats. They don't speak first, they observe. They wear dark colors, they give off this intense, intimidating, do not mess with me energy. And they have every right to do so. But what if the person living inside that house is a Gemini sun? Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It is a bouncy, chatty, curious air sign. So here you have someone who looks like a brooding mafia boss, terrifying everyone at the party. But if you actually walk up to them and ask them a question, they will suddenly talk your ear off for 3 hours about a very niche Wikipedia rabbit hole they fell down last night. You expected dark magic and you got an overly caffeinated podcast host. That is the rising sign tricking you. Now let's flip it and look at Aquarius. If you have an Aquarius rising, your front door was designed by aliens. Aquarius is the observer. They give off this effortlessly cool, detached, slightly bizarre energy. They are the ones wearing an outfit that makes no sense but somehow looks like high fashion. People assume Aquarius risings are completely unbothered and above human emotion. But what if they have a Pisces sun? Pisces is the ocean. Pisces feels absolutely everything, all the time, everywhere. So you have this person walking around looking like an untouchable, ice-cold cyborg, but on the inside they are a deeply romantic, bleeding heart who is actively absorbing the emotional trauma of the cashier at the grocery store. If you only knew they were a Pisces, you would expect a fairy. But their Aquarius mask makes them look like a hacker. And since we are talking about Pisces, let's talk about Pisces risings. If your rising sign is Pisces, your PR manager is a siren who just woke up from a 100-year nap. Pisces risings are dreamy, they are fluid. They literally look like they are floating when they walk. They give off this chaotic, I have no idea what day it is or where I parked my car kind of vibe. People underestimate them constantly because they seem so gentle and ungrounded. But what if they have a Capricorn sun? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. It is ambition, structure, and cold, hard reality. So you are dealing with someone who looks like a woodland nymph, completely lost in a daydream, but the person inside the house is actually a ruthless CEO with a 10-year color-coded Excel spreadsheet for their life. They look like they don't know what's going on, but they actually own the building you are standing in. Do you see why pop astrology is failing us? Do you see why judging someone based on a single paragraph in a magazine is absolutely absurd? We are not simple, we are layered, we are contradictions. And astrology is the blueprint that helps us make sense of the beautiful, messy clash between how the world perceives us and who we actually are when the front door closes. That is what we are doing here in the lounge. We are stripping away the pop culture fluff and we are reading the fine print. This is our weekly cosmic reset. Every Saturday, we are going to deep dive into concepts just like this. We will talk about synastry, the houses, and the honest realities of navigating this world with the charts we were given. And on Mondays, we will do a quick check-in on the current transits, what is happening in the sky right now, and how it is going to mess with your week. Make sure you are following the Lilith Astrology Lounge on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening to this right now. Thank you for giving me a second chance at this launch. Thank you for pulling up a chair. I will see you back here on Monday. Until then, take care of yourselves.